Good morning from chilly Florida. 59 degrees this morning. But you know what? That's fine with me, because in about an hour and a half, it's going to be warm. I'm just kind of getting started here. I left our place. We have about just under a mile to trails that go into the woods, and then I'll have a pretty nice view. Although we had the hurricanes that came through here 2 years ago, 3 of them, and crushed most of the foliage back there, but everything grows so fast in Florida. But yeah, this morning I'm going to be continuing the conversation about avoiding becoming the bottleneck of the business. Morning. Yeah, I am ridiculous Michigander here in shorts and a t-shirt. This is when it gets to these temperatures down here, people usually are wearing winter coats. But anyway, so continuing the conversation today on trying to avoid becoming the bottleneck. I think last week I talked a little bit about, you know, as an owner of the business, we're not necessarily micromanaging or being overly involved in every aspect of the business because we don't trust the people that work for us. It's actually, I think, primarily comes from a place of fear. Because, you know, when we start the business, I think pretty early on, we recognize that if this venture that we started is not successful, we don't eat, nor does our family. And that's kind of scary. We also realize once we start to have more and more people working for us, that if there's a mistake that's made or something doesn't go right in the business, then all of those people who have, you know, decided to join us and work with us, well, then their livelihood and their family's ability to participate fruitfully is in threat too. So there's a lot of fear, you know, about the business, about personal finances, about, you know, how other people are going to think about us. There's all kinds of fear. I'm going to cut in here into the park and get away from these cars. So noisy. But yeah, it's, you know, we're, as business owners, there's a lot to be concerned with. I don't think necessarily a lot to be scared of. And in fact, we should probably try to avoid fear, because people typically make bad decisions when they're scared. So we want to keep that under control. But yeah, and also remember, as people join our team, they're essentially saying, I believe in your mission. I believe in the company that you started. I want to join with you to help you go forward and build it. And then, so when somebody makes that commitment to you and decides to get behind one of the things, or the thing that you started to create value in this world, well, we want to reward them. We want to give them the ability to contribute, because they didn't just join to watch you and your efforts and try to see what all your decisions are. They joined to be able to contribute. And so, yes, we have lots of things to be nervous about, but it's not worth becoming the bottleneck. We want to give our team the ability to be able to expand and grow and contribute. I love these volleyball courts up here. Again, less than a mile from our house. It's kind of nice. But I never come and play. I should one of these days. If we're lucky, we'll be able to see the alligators out, but it's kind of cold, so who knows. I'm probably about a quarter mile away from where I enter into the woods. That's a pretty good view. That's worth the price of admission to this live, for sure. There's a dog park over there too. Brought Penny there one time, and then about an hour later noticed she had a tick. It was so gross. There's that beautiful orb coming up. One of the other ways that we become the bottleneck is by not clearly defining roles and responsibilities within the organization. And I think this kind of dovetails off of, the fear-based stuff. But since we become so accustomed to becoming the bottleneck, this is funny. You never know what's happening down here in Florida. Context is everything, though. It's a Frisbee golf course. But anyway, so out of the fear-based stuff, because we become so accustomed to embedding ourselves so deeply in the business and making every decision or being involved in every decision or micromanaging to make sure that there's no mistakes that end up making our fear come to reality. Because of this, we don't necessarily take the time to lay out clearly what the roles and responsibilities are of the different team members in the organization. And as soon as we can start to do that and provide some clarity, then we give them clear lanes that they'll be able to run in, grow, and make their contribution to the organization without constantly having to come and get clearance from you. And that's when things really start to go. In fact, I can remember probably one of our biggest periods of growth at Mindscape was a time where I felt like I had the least amount to do with that growth from a production standpoint or involvement. I actually felt pretty calm and relaxed at that time, and things were going. And I think that was a sign that we had several of the right people in the same or in the correct positions, and they were doing a great job of contributing and not getting stuck at a bottleneck. Because when you can feel when everything is flowing in the business so smoothly to where there's not really many headaches. I mean, very rarely does that happen, but when it does happen, oftentimes it happens because we're allowing our team to do what they need to do to help the company achieve what it needs to achieve. But again, we don't want to be stuck there in that center seat making sure everything has to run through us. That's a nice view. It's so pretty here in the mornings. I don't see any gator heads poking up above the surface. So this is where we switch from this view. There's some people playing pickleball over there. A lot of that down here. And then we get to switch over to the trail view as we enter into the woods. Yeah, another thing, I don't want to make it feel like all of us business owners are a bunch of little Johnny Pea Pants. It's not all about fear. Sometimes it's about control. And we think, you know, we can control everything. We can make sure everything's moving in the right direction. And we think that control is comfortable. And control is the last thing from comfortable. Control is when we're trying to, you know, muscle everything through the direction that we want to go in. Push and pull and prod and, you know, bend reality into exactly what we want it to be. And really that control requires so much additional effort, so much additional energy. And we don't control anything anyway. We don't control the market. We don't control the decision-making criteria that our clients use. We don't control the talent flow in the market. We truly don't have much control at all. And the only thing that we can control are the processes we put in place, the filtering process we use as we're bringing people on to join us in accomplishing the mission that our business sets out to accomplish. Those are the things we can control. And so I think having that illusion and becoming the bottleneck, just thinking because we're going to handle everything, is not going to be a very, very effective journey. But yeah, back here, a lot of these trees, as you look, you can see a lot of leafless trees. But that's all from the hurricanes that rolled through here 2 years ago. Still beautiful though. I felt probably a 5-degree change in the weather, as though that mist is kind of wearing off and the sun's getting higher and higher. Like I said, it's going to be in the mid-70s in about an hour or two. I think one of the biggest areas I used to become a bottleneck was in proposal writing. I always felt like I had to handle the sales. It felt like the conversation, if I didn't have it, it wasn't going to be communicated effectively or whatever. Whatever I wanted to say to kind of justify my own personal value, I would say it. And then anytime we had other salespeople, they would go out and have a meeting and come back, and I would have felt like I had to get so interwoven in that proposal writing process to make sure it was laid out the correct way and checked all the boxes, that it would create a lot of pressure. And it And being a procrastinator, it would just start to pile up. We wouldn't get the proposals done quick enough because I'd have to spend too much time. But again, that bottleneck it just creates more pain than anything else. Delegation is not an evil word. And once you delegate, allowing the person that you delegate to do the job that you've requested is just respect, in my opinion. Stepping in just says, I don't trust you. I don't believe you can do it to my standards. And who wants to be treated that way? I mean, maybe we don't say the words, but actions speak louder than words. I think I'm going to do about 5 miles this morning, especially because the temperature's so nice. I have kind of a natural motivation to not be lazy in the mornings down here. Because if you wait just a little bit too long, then you got to go out here and sweat your butt off. Especially after it's wintertime in Michigan. I'm so accustomed to the colder temperatures that when we're down here even for a week or two, I get sick of the hot weather very quickly, which is silly. There's usually some eagles out here too. Maybe I can catch one of those on the camera. That'd be cool. Yeah, there are lots of raptors down here. And there was I remember a walk I went on, and as I was coming around the corner, I saw, I think it was an armadillo laying in the road. I walked up to the park up here, did a lap around in the trees, and on the way back I saw the all those things that look like undertakers. I can't even think of what they're called. Anyway, they were just leaving the scene. And so by the time I walked up, went a few miles, and came back by it, the birds had already completely eaten the carcass that was on the road. They do a lot of work down here to take care of the nature takes care of itself. It's really crazy. We lived down here for 6 months once we bought our place, and it really kind of got to experience what Florida's like. And when we moved down here, we moved down in January of 2022, and I think it was November of 2022 when Ian hit that required a complete remodel of our place. That hurricane was something else. I'm glad I wasn't here, but the neighbors on our street said that the wind was like sustained winds at 208 miles an hour for like 16 or 18 hours or something like that. So while Fort Myers got as the circle was turning of the hurricane, got the water surging into there, we were at the top end with the wind part that was blowing out, and it was crazy. All the water from the bays got sucked out. Yeah, I got here a couple days afterwards. It looked like an absolute war zone. But remarkable how quick the nature comes back. But this stuff, still a lot of leafless trees out there. Oh yeah, this is a great spot right here. So down at the end of our street, we have docks we can get for like, I don't know, $300 a year. And then we can put boats out there and work our way from the end of our street right down into the Gulf of Mexico. And once I get to the top of this bridge, I'll show you the waterways, but it's pretty cool. We went there with some friends on a couple different occasions, and one of the times when the tides come in or out, you really got to be aware, because there was not enough water, and we had to get out and get us unstuck a few times. That was not very fun, but yeah, here you go. So beautiful. I got some fish or something down there. These mangroves are growing tall. Good morning, Brian. Are you down here? All right. It's nice being out here on the trails when it's 58 or 59 in Florida, because I'm by myself and I'm the only person that would be wearing shorts and a t-shirt in this weather down here. I forgot my parka. Oh, there's someone else. Morning.
Good morning.
I know. Yeah, I don't mind. It's a heck of a lot better than what we came down here to escape. My beautiful trees back here in the woods are all gone from those hurricanes, though, man. Are things all completely cleaned up down there yet, or are there still some lingering effects? All right. Well, I am ready to hop off and enjoy the rest of my hike in peace. Yeah, I think the homes that got ruined, I think there's still some up here in Inglewood that have not been completely rebuilt yet. Have a great day, man. Enjoy the sunshine. Maybe we'll bump into you. We'll be down here till the 6th. And anyone else that's on, thanks for joining. Have a beautiful day.